Yeah. Okay, so we're going to now focus on social media. How many of you would love to become really powerful on social media? Okay, fantastic, awesome. How many of you would love to get about 250 people in a room because of social media? Okay, look around the room, guys. Okay, I'm going to just teach you a few key techniques. I want to also talk about a couple of things, and that is, there's a few myths with social media. That you have to be a top influencer and you have to have thousands and thousands and thousands of followers and you have to spend tens of thousands of dollars on ads. Well, I can tell you that you don't. We've been able to build quality relationships on social media that has led to being able to run events all over the world, pay minimal for ad spend, do most of it organically, and at the same time we were able to, when we were building our network marketing business, we enrolled over 250 people from Facebook and over almost 400 on LinkedIn. Okay? I'm using exactly what I'm about to talk about. Now, for those of you that have been to this event before, you will be familiar with some of the processes, but there are some key updates as well. Social media is changing so fast. Like it's moving that fast that I didn't even put the social media piece together here until 2 days ago. Because what happened with the Facebook algorithms over the last few weeks has shifted a few things as well. But I want you to remember that social media is an extension of who you are. If you don't know who you are, then you're going to struggle on social media. It's not do I build on social media? No, it's where do I position myself in front of the people that I'm looking to find? Well, here's the thing, they're all on social media these days. And if you're not using this as a platform, you're going to be left behind. So it's non-negotiable. I'm going to say that up front. There have been big leaders in the entrepreneurial world, especially in network marketing for years, say, traditional, go down that route, just bring social media here and there. I've been very vocal in saying no, because if you want to stay ahead of the game, you've got to play with the trends now. By the time some of the big leaders from the past catch up with social media, it will be holograms. With that, we're moving that quickly. In fact, I'm going to talk about some really scary and exciting things. So this is from Hootsuite. 7.6 billion people in the world right now. If you Google it, it's probably even a little bit different. Every place has a different, or every company has a different way of getting their stats. But 7.655 billion people, is that a lot of people? Yeah, it's just a few. So if John down the road or Mary down the road says no to you, please don't go in the witness protection program. You've got plenty of other people. Internet users, 4.1 billion people. That number's growing. That number's growing a lot. But that still shows that there's 3.5 billion people not online. That's also a lot of people. There's 3.3 billion, almost 3.4 billion, active on social media. And out of the people that are using social media, it's quite interesting because look at these. Oh, actually, that number's, I'll have to double check that number, but it was around just slightly under, because that's just doubled up. Social on mobile is only just slightly behind the amount of people that are active on social. In other words, mobile is the way of the future. Okay, so again, that final stat, I will give you an update on that because that's just been a double up. So here's the shift. Anyone heard of 5G? Okay, anyone heard of 4G? Okay, we're all connected on 4G at the moment. 4G allows us to basically connect the way that we are currently connecting online. 5G is a new technology, shorter wavelengths in terms of the frequency that's used, and it allows us to move things at speeds that we have never seen before. I'm talking, in fact, I was only hearing a story at one of the raceways here a couple of weeks ago. Racing car drivers were blindfolded and driving at 150k an hour with 5G driving, actually controlling the cars. That's how instant 5G is. With 4G, sometimes you can't even load Facebook. Just occasionally, but it still doesn't work. So 5G is really a big exciting thing from one side. From a health perspective, I'm a little bit scared, but that's just because of some of the things I've looked at, and we're going to talk from both angles. Here's the thing. Look at this. Just have a read of this and just take it in. The other half of the world's population will be connected in the coming years. In fact, 3 to 5 years, a lot of people are saying. 3.5 billion people. They're saying 5G, along with the satellite technology, is going to allow people to have full bars even when they're on the ocean. It will be no different wherever you are, anywhere in the world. With that in mind, again, from an entrepreneurial perspective, think about opportunity. No one has even heard of what you currently do in half of the world in the way that you do it. If you're someone that has an idea, please run with it now. The best time to be alive when it comes to opportunity. When I talk about the excitement of this, look what Forbes published. They said every item from our refrigerators to our sneakers will be connected to the cloud via a 5G network that can interact with millions of other devices, informing every decision we make, and in some cases making those decisions for us. It's scary. It's scary. There are already self-driving cars going around in different parts of the world. In fact, there's actually a video of one of the pizza shops in the US doing it. It's a self-driving car, comes to your house, you take that out, and drives off, and there's no one in there. Well, okay, here's the scary thing. Big Brother's watching. Big Brother's really watching. And here's the other scary thing. The waves haven't been tested on humans, these new waves. And what we need to understand, the reason I'm driving so heavy into the personal performance and the mindfulness piece at the moment, and I'm really serious about this, is if we're stressed and we're exposed to all this extra radiation, we're only going to become more depressed. You can't shield from it. Right now, you could turn your phone off and you can be offline. With 5G, it will be penetrating full-time from satellites across the whole world. Right? So you can see, knowing me a little bit from working today, why I'm going, there's a few little things that we need to look at, but let's talk about the positives for now. The fact is, you're in business, you're here to make your opportunity work, you've got ideas, you've got dreams, and there are 3.5 billion people going to be connected in the coming years. Okay? Is that exciting? Everyone's like, yeah, but I'm going to die. Yeah. Well, let's hope it's not that bad, But look, where do we start with social media? So social media, you look, obviously many different platforms, and it's pretty interesting to see. I mean, look, this is just showing you a few, but there's a lot more social media platforms out there. There are some that we really know well. But I want to be really, really clear up front today, and that is social media is not a short game. It's not the transaction game, guys. It is the long game. It's the value add game. So that means that we need to be really good at creating content that's not about your company. That's not about your opportunity. That's actually about giving something that you already know to the world. All of you have unique experiences, amazing, personalities. You've got the most amazing scenario to think that there's actually no one in the world like you at all. So you've actually got no competitors. And we're in the world of the entrepreneur more than ever. So we've got to understand that by using the experiences that we've had with the values and the goals and dreams that we've got, that we can actually share some content to the world that can make a difference. And for all of you that are feeling a little bit like, I don't know if I could share much content, honestly, what are you passionate about? How many of you love cooking? How many of you, keep your hand up if you love cooking, please. And keep your hand up if you've posted about it on social media. Okay, most of the hands go down. A few stay up. Again, same concept. If you're passionate about cooking, imagine what you could do very, very quickly connected to the internet by sharing some of that. It could be your weekly tips. It could be the three ingredients that you never should cook with, right? Whatever it is, you could be adding a lot of value. So we're going to get to that. But again, people don't care what you know until they know that you care. People don't care what you know until they know that you care. We cannot ignore this anymore. We have been ignoring it because we all want to pay our bills. We all want to get to the top of the plan. And unfortunately, engagement is going to go lower and lower and lower. In fact, Facebook's artificial intelligence technology is unbelievable. Have you seen how it now recognizes you when you're in other photos that you haven't even been tagged in? And it's like, oh my gosh, they know what we look like from every angle. So if you're worried about 5G, they already know who you are. So we've got to understand the artificial technology is so powerful that it can pick a sales pitch and it will lower the engagement unless you pay for a boosted post. Why? Because Facebook makes revenue from ads. So if there's any way that it feels that you are trying to jeopardize or go around the policies and the procedures, because the policies and procedures is this: you are not allowed to use your personal profile for business purposes. You actually signed up to that. We've had friends that have had their entire accounts shut down, and they had pictures of their babies, and they were only on that platform, some of those photos, and they never got them back. Again, Facebook controls us a lot. And again, we talked about it the addiction this morning, but also from a content perspective, we've got to be careful. But I'm going to give you a hack. I'm going to help you still use your profile, but we've just got to understand the psychology about it. Look, here's the thing. How many of you worry about how many likes and comments you get? Please, come on. Oh, come on. And all of the other ones are like, oh, I don't want to show that that's me. But a lot of people are in that scenario. What if we could stop worrying about the comments and the likes that we got, and we started worrying about the likes and the comments that we give? What if we give more without expecting in return? It's amazing what I have seen happen over the last few months from doing that in terms of, actual real communication behind the scenes on Messenger on Facebook, as an example. So I'm going to give you a little insight to a couple of the key platforms, just so you understand where it is. Then we're going to hack the actual system. Does that work for everyone? Okay. There are 2.23 billion active users on Facebook. So if Facebook were a country, it would be the largest country. There are 1.4 billion active daily. How many of you are not using Facebook for business? It's time you do. Because every single person is on there. If you look at it, a third of the world's population pretty much. But if you actually look at how many people are connected, it's half the people that are connected to the internet are on Facebook. Visual content is 40 times more likely to get shared. So what that means is something with a photo or a video is 40 times more likely to get shared than just the post. And for us writers, I love writing the cool posts and stuff like that. I just don't get any engagement on that anymore. So we need to be more creative. Again, we need to hack the system. Now, this is interesting. How many of you like to put YouTube links up every now and then? Okay, firstly, Facebook don't like you leaving their platform. The second thing is they are in direct competition with YouTube because they own Instagram. So they will basically, again, with the artificial intelligence, they will know not to boost or not to see too many, or not to have too many people see what you're putting in front of them when it comes to putting YouTube links. So natively, you need to put the video on Facebook, upload it to Facebook, and then have people watch it from there. Making sense? 70% more reach just from one simple change. And here's a fun fact. 85% of people watch videos in silence. So just let's put that in perspective. 15% of people watch videos as you've probably got them right now. Only 15%. And 85% watch videos in silence. So if you don't have captions, there's a good chance you're just not reaching your audience. And how do you get captions? Here's a little hack. Rev.com. REV.com. So this is not a live video, by the way. This is like if you were uploading something. So Rev is $1. It's $1 a minute. It's about $1 a minute. It's pretty cheap in the scheme of things. You might even get it cheaper here if someone does it here, but it's cheap for us. And basically what they do is they can transcribe the entire thing and actually send it to you as a caption. And what you do is you upload the caption, especially if you're doing it through your Facebook page, you upload the caption when you're uploading the video and it starts putting the words out. It kind of looks like this, but not there. It kind of comes across there. Okay? This one was custom made. We've got a team that do that. LinkedIn. Again, we're going to come back to Facebook. In fact, a lot of the training is going to be on Facebook. But again, just giving you a little bit of an insight. How many of you are on LinkedIn at the moment? Biggest gold mine in the world, honestly. And so many people are still not doing it. I created a course, which is like a 40 lesson, 12 module course on how to hack LinkedIn. I'm pretty much giving you obviously not the whole thing today, but I'm going to give you, a snippet of kind of what worked for us here. But LinkedIn is probably the most utilized opportunity when it comes to network marketing. There's 560 million users, so it's not as big as Facebook, But here's the thing, they're the world's largest professional network. So those people that are already on there may have a bit of a business mindset, may have a bit of an entrepreneurial spark in their bones, may be open to looking at opportunities. And if you identify people that already have values similar to yours, then you'll be able to hack the system much faster. Instagram, 1 billion users. This is the fastest growing social media platform in the world. 500 million active daily on there. And it's driven by the millennials. If you want a prosperous future, long term, you want to be on this. Anyone using Instagram TV? Okay, so Instagram TV allows you to be posting 10-minute videos. In fact, if you've got 10,000 followers or more, you can do 15-minute videos. And it's horizontal. Vertical, sorry. Completely playing with the different perspectives there. So the vertical video is probably the way of the future. They're really saying, because we've been landscaped the whole time, haven't we? We always turn our phone to the side. But now, Instagram TV allows you to basically go the other way with your phone back up. And the content that's been produced in there is great. It's only been launched a few months ago. My suggestion is to get some content on there. Again, if you like cooking, what about once a week? You set your camera up. It's very easy to get a stand for it if you need. And just cook and show people what you're doing. You will gain a following so quickly. Yep. For 15 minutes. If you've got under 10,000 followers, then you can do 10 minutes. Yeah, and that might change as well. So vertical video as well. Okay, so let's talk about so they're the 3 platforms that I would personally be excited about, on top of whatever else you like using, but they're major ones. YouTube, obviously. YouTube's the second largest social network in the world. It's got obviously a different approach. It's not quite as social as the other ones that we know. But here's what to avoid. I'm going to be straight up with you today. Firstly, my suggestion or my gut feeling moving forwards is to not brand yourself as your company online. Yes. Right, and so, branding as a company, there's 2 major issues with that at the moment. The first one is you're not taking control of you and your passions and your gifts that you have to offer the world. And people buy people more than they do companies. Right? Do we think about Virgin or do we think about Richard Branson more? Richard Branson first, right? There's that. He's done amazing on both fronts. But again, it's the personality that we buy into. I always think, Apple, and you immediately think Steve Jobs. Bill Gates with Microsoft. Again, these guys have done both great, but all the projects they were working with, they didn't really put them out as the main thing, right? And network marketing, it's not your company. It's somebody else's company. You don't have control of where it's going, what it's doing. You're having faith where it's going, and most of the time with good faith. But let's control it a little bit more because people will follow you faster than they follow anything else. The second big problem is Google. Google's great, by the way. So Google's not a problem. But the problem is this. If you're with company X and Y, and you're plastering all over your social media what you do with company X and Y, people that connect with you for the first time will go and Google it. And when they Google it, there are a few things that come up. Firstly, it's a scam, yeah. Which company are you in? No, I'm kidding. It always comes up with, are you a scam? With network marketing. It doesn't matter which company, because someone wants to write that, okay? I'm mainly playing right. Oh, the Aussie cheekiness is coming out now. I'm feeling good. Okay, so with the Google thing though is, people, when they go and Google it and they go to the scam site is often written by, or something negative news, is often written by someone that really understands marketing at a high level. Because they understand that if your company's hot right now and they create somewhat of a funnel into their site when everyone Googles, and they get the traffic, they can start selling advertising on their website because they can go to advertise and say, well, hey, we're getting 1 million hits a month. So now they're making money off saying your companies are this or that. Does that make sense? And you're letting your possible prospects go and Google, and here's the thing, you don't even know that they've Googled it. You've lost complete control. And the more that you put the transaction out, the more you get the likes and the love from all your community. Hey, everyone in your community is excited, but you don't want the likes and the love from your community. You want to be attracting people to you that you don't know. Attraction Marketing 101. And so that leads me on to the next thing, which is commission breath. Join my company. My product's the best. Okay, do you get it, right? Please, commission breath. So we're not putting our company on the front line. Now, look, I'm going to talk about how we're going to go about this. So for those of you that have got your arms folded at the moment, this is going to work out good in the end. Like, I'm going to give you the actual movie finish is good, right? But again, we need to be aware of all of this. So the commission breath part is really important to not do. Spamming links, join my business, WhatsApp me, number. There's no relevance. You don't know that person's want, needs. You may as well call them. Pitching on the first date. Hey, how are you? Good, thanks. Hey, you open to an opportunity? Feels a little bit uncomfortable, doesn't it? So get to know people first. Again, the concept I mentioned this morning is go out and network so much every single day to create new friends rather than new business associates. And once you have a network that likes and trusts you and they find out what you're doing, they will naturally refer people. Some people will get involved. They'll be the biggest support for you because they like you and they trust you. Tagging others. There's a lot of that going on, isn't there? And posting checks. Okay, guys, we have a real issue with the posting of checks. So, in Africa, the regulations haven't been as strong in some areas. In the US, if you post your commission, your company can be shut down by the Federal Trade Commission. If you're posting income, even stating how much money you're getting on a car bonus, that is uncompliant in most parts of the world. I just feel that to clean the industry up, we just want to lead a little bit more with value and passion rather than... Does that make sense? Do we agree? Okay, great. So here's the accelerator formula. This is a formula that we've utilized to be able to help people to really win, and it's called the BAPA system. How many of you have used the BAPA system? Put your hand up if you've used it before. Okay. This is what it stands for. B for brand, A for audience, P stands for position, and A stands for action. Again, I'll say that again. B stands for brand, A stands for audience, P stands for position, and A stands for action. So the B piece we're going to go into. We're going to ask questions. I'm going to get you to write some things down. Questions around, am I portraying the real me? A is identifying your ideal audience. We're one of the only industries in the world, and I say this, professions I would say more so. And I often say network marketing is not an industry anymore, it's used by industries, by the way. But the key thing with the audience piece is, in any other sales game, you would need to know your target market, wouldn't you? To sell a product, that was one of the first questions. What's our target market? How often is that being asked in network marketing? Not a lot. So we need to start asking that a little bit more. P is, where do I position in front of my ideal audience? And A is, what do I actually need to do to take massive action? So, B for brand. Your brand is you. Your brand is who I'm seeing right now. Your brand is where you go and where you are online. That is how you're going to show up everywhere, right? It's congruent, it's authentic, so make sure that you're not a different person online to offline. Make sure you are congruent, you're authentic. Has anyone ever met someone online and go and have a coffee with them, and you're sitting in the coffee shop waiting for the person to meet you, and this person that looks, 20 years older is just sitting in front of you, and you're wondering why they're sitting there? I think we're all laughing because we've all been there, right? Gosh. So, again, stay relevant, stay updated. If you change your hairstyle in a big way, then update that online as well. If you've changed your background, update that. If you've lost all your teeth, also, you get the point. Okay. Number two is, what are your values? Now, we spoke about this morning this piece. So by knowing your values is really important because you never want to compromise those values. So for example, if your highest value is relationships, but you go after the money and you ruin relationships because you go after the money, that completely throws everything out of the game. So if your highest value is relationships, you will never jeopardize your relationships for money. Make sense? We need to know what those values are. Number three is your vision. A simple question I can ask you right now is this. And we spoke about the 100-year thing. Imagine you're 100 years old looking back on your life. But I want to ask you a question. How do you want to be remembered? Just write that question down. How do I want to be remembered? And think about that a little bit more, because what's the difference between where you are right now and that person? Is there a gap? What do I need to do each and every day right now to show up as the best possible version of myself to achieve that desired vision? So that means that becomes part of your brand identity. We've got to make sure we show up again in that same form. Number four is your story. I'm going to get the flip chart up here. Many of you have created a story recently that you've used to share what you do. Great. Try not to knock too much off the stage. Can everyone see that? Your story is broken into a few different parts. Number one is your background. Number two is your passions. Number three is a problem you faced. Number four is a solution you found. And five is vision. I'd like you to think about this in a sentence for now. I'd like you to write down your background before you were doing what you're currently doing. So for example, this is a very high-level question because everyone's different. So you could say, for the last 10 years, I've been an accountant living in the UK. You could also say, I've been a stay-at-home mum. Whatever you've been doing, write it down. What's your background? What have you been doing before you got involved in networking? Number two is, what are you most passionate about? We spoke about this earlier, so this should come really, really nicely. So now I'm going to put it into a bit of a structure for you. For the past 10 years, I've been an accountant living in the UK. However, what I've been most passionate about is spending more time with my family. You could go even more specific if you wanted to. However, a problem that I faced was that if I didn't work, I didn't get paid. And there weren't enough hours in the day to be able to spend enough time with the people that I love the most. Anyone relate to that? So talk about where you've come from, what you're most passionate about, the problems that you've faced, and then let's talk about the solution in a generic format without giving away, the name of the company yet. However, 2 years ago, a friend of mine offered me an opportunity that would allow me to create another income stream without jeopardizing what I was currently doing. Since then, I've been able to cut my hours down to part-time, to be able to spend more time with my family and do more things that I love. And my vision now is to be able to help other people to be able to accomplish that same sort of fate. Does that make sense? I've just given you how to write a bio on Facebook, how to write your bio on LinkedIn. When someone asks you, what do you do, how to respond. It's everything. Network marketers are the storytellers of the 21st century, yet we're forgetting to teach our teams how to tell their story. Again, duplication comes from steps. We have now 5 steps that we can utilize. And you can build this out. Again, when it's a bio, you can make it longer. When it's hey, tell me more about what you do. Well, a few years ago, I was an unhappy accountant, and I was more passionate about spending more time with my family. However, what happened was, if I didn't work, I didn't get paid, and there was no way of being able to accomplish that. A couple of years ago, I had a friend of mine that was able to introduce me to an opportunity that would allow me to create another income without jeopardizing what I was currently doing. And as a result, I'm now passionate about helping other people to do the same. However you want to do it. That 30 seconds or less. Could that be helpful? So now we've got this template, right, that fits into your brand. So now you know the brand is you know your values, and if you also, by the way, values are important to talk about as a family. So if you are in a family environment, whether it's kids, whether it's partner, it's important everyone understands each other's values. Because I can tell you right now, there'd be a lot less depression, breakups, and all of that in the world if we actually understood the values of the people closest to us. And again, not everyone wants the same, and sometimes we just don't get it. And then number 5 is your experience. So your experience is it's embracing, and it's acknowledging where you've come from and what you know. For so many years I taught network marketing, but I didn't talk about the health stuff and the stuff that really made all the difference for me. That was not being congruent. The moment I changed that, everything started to flow. It's funny that, isn't it? So again, find your experiences and share those experiences. And don't hold anything back. Just because you're building a business doesn't mean you don't go and speak about cooking. Again, people are going to love you for you. Try not to position yourself as a network marketing professional, trainer, and this and that, just because you're wanting to do that to attract someone if that's not who you are. Okay. Here's the thing about the personal image part. A couple of things with your profile photo. Number 1, always make sure that you've got a professional looking headshot. I don't mean you have to go and get someone to take a photo right now that's professional. But what we need to understand is that it needs to be clean. It needs to be engaging. And you want to make sure that there's no other people in the picture as well. Do you know how many people have got pictures of plants as their profile photo? Dogs, cats. That's not going to help you. Because I'll tell you why. Because they say you can't judge a book by its cover. Well, here's the thing. Most people are judging your profile within 3 to 5 seconds of whether they want to speak with you or not. And if you're a plant, although it's pretty amazing actually. Who wants to go a bit woo-woo? I've got a friend that plugs in plants to a synthesizer and actually plays music. So, and it's another story. We'll do after party. Okay, step number 2, always ensure that you dress authentically. So again, if you're someone that wears a jacket everywhere, but you're now hanging out in, flip-flops and shorts and things, singlet kind of approach, it's not kind of the same person, is it, all the time? So you need to make sure that you're consistent. Number 3, ensure your photo's taken from the shoulders up. This will have more positive impact on your perceived capability and influence. Isn't that amazing? You're actually seen as more capable and more influential if your photo's taken from here up. And that's why when we do selfies, it's like this, not like that. We see so many people taking photos like this, but the ones that are most attractive to the eye are actually from that angle. Okay, the photos that are most attractive are headshots, like. Okay, always show your teeth in your smile. Okay, the reason being is that also can impact your likability and trust worthiness as well. And so, I think it's important for people to see that energy. And I think we also heard about that this morning, didn't we, in terms of smiling at people and all of that. So it's important that we take advantage of that. Ensure that your profile photo is the same on all platforms. Okay? And the reason being is if you're on LinkedIn and someone connects with you, and then you say, hey, let's connect on Facebook, and they can't now find you because you've got a different profile photo, then you've got a problem. So congruent all the way through. This is your brand. This is your recognition in terms of public appearance. Is this helpful? Okay, it's time for a social media cleanup. So here's the deal. If you've currently not got this kind of process and procedure going, the first thing you could do is go and look at your profile photo, your cover photo, and also your intro. And your intro can be written two ways. You could write something that creates curiosity, such as, I always love using words like life hacker, professional life hacker. People are like, what's that? Right? So again, using something that creates curiosity. You could also say, I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur, I help people to live their passions full time. How do you do that? You want to generate a question which is how. The cover photo, it needs to be clean as well. You can get professional ones. Has anyone used Fiverr.com? Fiverr or VVER? I can't remember. But anyway, Fiverr.com, for about $5, someone will actually make you a nice cover photo. Yeah, and you can get everything on there. Logos, websites, transcripts, everything you'd like. So best practices are avoid posting, and this is important because we do see this a lot, okay? So avoid posting any controversial topics. So look, I guess anything that could be conflicting to a lot of other people. So, political beliefs. Look, I don't mind you doing whatever you want to do, but I'm talking from a branding standpoint. Like, if you want to become really successful, and you're constantly talking about, I see so many people talking about what Trump has done and not done, and it's like, you're just creating more hate, more energy, and you're just vibrating at a lower frequency when you do that, right? What about if we talk about what is good? So rather than focusing on what's not working, we start focusing on what is working, right? So, a lot of the political, even a lot of, religious posts, everyone's got beautiful beliefs, and that's totally great, but some people get really controversial with that, and do it in a way that's loving rather than frightening. Okay? Copy and paste messages. The algorithm of Facebook, which determines how many people see what you post, there is absolutely no point in you just copying someone's post and putting it up as yours. It's just not. Just share someone's post, write your own. What about those ones where it's like, and if you share this with 5 friends now, you're going to beat this kind of disease, or it's like, and everyone's got it going, and then what about, who got all that message a few weeks ago, which was like, well, yeah, there's been a few things recently where everyone gets sent these things saying, your account's been hacked. No, it hasn't. Someone told you it had, so you listened to them. Start making decisions for yourself on that side as well. And look, reusing content's quite interesting. So reusing content, even the Facebook algorithm can determine whether someone's image has been used before. So it's often going to get a lot lower traction. So I think where a lot of companies from this industry are going to have to adapt is a lot of companies have great posts with beautiful quotes and branded content. And now if 300 people are all sharing that individually, because they're not sharing it, they're posting it as theirs, it's not going to get a lot of traction. Viral content's better, sharing from one source. Make sense? Okay. So we also talked about removing all reference to your company, and your biggest tool here is curiosity. You want people to go, so how do you do that? What do you do? It's not being secretive, by the way. I had a few people recently say to me, yeah, but I feel like I'm not being honest. Why aren't you being honest by portraying you first? You're portraying who you are. You don't have to tell everyone about what you do on the first date. But by understanding the curiosity piece, you will probably find that this will work for you long term. And plus, again, the transaction thing will not work with the way that Facebook is now set up. So now, does that help on a branding perspective? Do we have a little bit more clarity? Okay, so we're now going to talk about audience. I just want you to imagine for one moment, you walk into a Mercedes dealer, you decide on riding or driving a Mercedes C-Class 200. Yeah? You want it?
I've got it.
You got it?
Next year.
Next year, I like it. Next year. Okay, brilliant. What was your name, sir? Prince? Prince, this is your car.
And
Okay, so this is what happens. Prince gets his car. He now drives out in the afternoon, beautiful sunny day. You're driving this beautiful white car, you've got the tunes cranking, you even lower the seat a bit and you drive it like a real dude. Yeah. Okay, but as you drive out, all of a sudden, what do you start to see on the road? Hey, Prince, other people have your car. And here's the thing, those cars were already there. But because he knew what he was looking for, he started to see them. And if we apply that same principle to business, if we know who we are looking for when it comes to our network marketing business, to our prospect, to whatever it is, we will start to see them. They're already standing there. They're already around you. And we often say we need to go cold market because we're uncomfortable going warm market, yet the warm market are often the ones that are ready to roll. And then you get really annoyed that they joined with, your other friend or someone else in your company. Well, you didn't say anything. So you've got to be clear on who you're looking for. And when we talk about who you're looking for, I think there's some questions that you can ask. And we go through this in our LinkedIn course. Things like, what kind of problems are they facing? What kind of location are they in? Those kinds of questions, because it's important that you can define it so much. Now, this is not that you only prospect and work with that person. No, you're going to work with people that are, interested and open and have similar values all the time. But the ideal means that when they show up, you see them. You know that they're there. Positioning then comes down to saying, okay, I know where these people are, or who they are. Where do they actually hang out? So positioning is, what platforms do I use? So I would start with with the platform piece, I would start always by ensuring that you're on at least 2. Why? Because if you overpost on Facebook, if you tab a post across too often, they put you in Facebook jail. Just means you can't contact anyone for a few days. But if you're relying on that as your business platform, right? So be on a second one and work it as well. So for me, it was always about Facebook and LinkedIn. Obviously, Instagram's important as well. I'm talking 100% organic. I'm not talking from a page perspective. I'm going to talk about really a lot, most of the time, around how to hack the whole process with profiles to start with, because you understand what your audience wants, and then you can scale that in other areas. So which method do we use? Yes, you can use your profile. Or do we use our page? How many of you have a Facebook page? Okay. Or do we share it in our groups? How many of you have groups? Okay, well, here's the strategy. And this is what we find works really, really effectively. So you've got your profile, which is obviously your connection piece to those that you know, and you will continue to grow that. I mean, I would be suggesting you're adding friends every single day. And you've got your page, which allows you to then scale much higher, because scaling means that you can target audiences, you can pay for advertising. That's great. And that's a whole nother conversation with social media. But for today, I think you just want to get the basics right with your profile, and then you can scale it across to your page. But either way, what you're doing is you're funneling these people into a group. And this group is a free group. It's a Facebook group that provides extra value, extra content. So for example, let's go back to the cooking piece. Let's say you love cooking. What you could be doing is you could be posting, hey, listen, you could do a Facebook Live. You could say, hey, today I'm going to share about the 3 ingredients that you should never mix together. That'd be fun. I would watch that because I'd be curious, right? Creating curiosity. And then in that Facebook Live, you could say, hey, listen, if you want the recipe to this ingredient, we've got heaps of those free ones in our free group. So what happens? Everyone joins the free group, and then the viral thing starts taking shape. They start bringing people in. Now, why is a group good? Because people like to feel like they're part of something exclusive. And it brings that exclusivity in that little bit more. So now you've got people coming from your profile and your page into your free group, and you've gained more trust that way. What you do thereafter, every now and then in that free group, could be offering some form of, information on something. That it could be, hey guys, I'm going to be running a webinar or a meeting in the next few days on how you can live a life by your own design. So now everyone in the cooking group go, wow, I'd love to live a life on my own design, and that's when you take them to looking at an opportunity. Does that make sense? That's a really simple model, but it really works well. And you could be a photographer or a videographer, you could be a network marketer, you could be anyone in the world right now and use this approach, and it would work. The scale of it comes down to whether you're going to go down the page route or not, because the page, again, allows you to target particular audiences and go from there, and you can spend a lot of money that way. But you would always recommend working with people that have done it before so that you're not being left behind, because it's very easy to spend money on advertising for the sake of it and not getting any return. But the only thing to position here is value. I'll help you all become a key influencer, online and offline, by simply encouraging you just to continue to add value every single day. So how do we add value? EPL. E stands for educate, P stands for passion, L stands for lifestyle. And there's also a little E at the end, which is entertain. People love to be entertained, would you agree? Okay, so how this works is we're going to basically educate people through posting about things that we know, right? And we've spoken about that, the 3 ingredients. That's a great post. Another thing could be what not to do when you're an entrepreneur. You could put posts, you could do videos. How many of you have not done a Facebook Live before? Okay, so I'm going to also encourage you to find a couple of people that you know. Just put yourself in a really small group. Maybe you create a group for this and practice with each other. Right? Practice. And the way you practice is basically by introducing yourself, getting a little bit of engagement. A Facebook Live can be as simple as, hey guys, today I'm going to be talking to you about the 3 ingredients that you should never mix together. By the way, James Yates here, drop a 1 in the comment if you're watching live, drop a 2 if you're watching the replay. Give me a lot of love if you haven't watched me for the first time. Like, those kind of questions, really simple, right? And you could be doing it as a selfie. This is a selfie, by the way. Just that hand, okay? And so what we want to be then doing is doing consistent, because Facebook is a video platform moving forward. So I think we've only got about 3 to 4 years until it's really saturated with the marketing side of things. And so we're going to have to move fast. 2.5 billion people on there almost. So you want to make sure that you're doing a lot of video because that's what's going to get priority in the algorithm. So again, practice, practice, practice. But look, you can do video, you can do live videos, you can do posts, you can do pictures. There's so many things that you can do as well. Talk about living congruently. I talked before about making sure you're healthy. That's about 3 days worth of fruit there for Chantel and I. And again, we teach people on principles that feel right for us. So make sure that you're also doing the same. Passion. Has anyone seen me play piano before? Okay, a few of you are on my Facebook. All right? So I love piano. Right? I just play. That's what I love. But again, that's being congruent. That's being authentic. So make sure that you share what you love. And that brings out that energy. People start to see you not just as this person that's educating, but a real human being that they can relate to. Gives a lot of people permission to actually become themselves as well. The amount of messages I get from when I put the piano pieces up by people just saying, you know what, I feel like just from watching that gave me permission to go out and just live how I should be living and showing up a little bit more on Facebook. And lifestyle, show your lifestyle. If you're having a coffee with friends, if you're at an event like this, you can be taking photos of it. You can be sharing it. So the question is, when am I actually talking about my company? Right? Has anyone of you actually thought about that for a moment? Okay, here's the thing. 1 to 2, 3 maximum curiosity posts per couple of weeks. So that could be something like this. Could anyone recommend a hard worker that may be interested in creating an additional income? Do you know how many comments you get to those kinds of things? So not only are you tapping into referrals, but then you're getting people going, well, I would be interested. Why didn't you ask me? So then they're coming to you through an attraction marketing technique. You could say, which of my friends could recommend a good real estate agent? Another thing you could be doing is, hey, I've never had so much energy. You could be turning your product bottle to the side, again, if you're a product-based company, so it's not giving away what it is. Say, I've never had so much energy with this product. Feeling great, more mental clarity, like whatever it does. But again, so you're giving some of the outcomes without giving away what it is. People are going to go, whoa, because again, human curiosity. It's like, when someone if I go outside right now and I start pointing at something, everyone starts looking. Have you ever done that? Try that as a social experiment. Just go to a mall and just start going when there's a lot of people around and everyone gathers. It's really funny because, again, people are curious. So understand that that's one of your biggest tools in this business. So it's all about engagement. So now I'm going to talk to you about how to engage people through taking massive action. Here's how we do it. AVR. A stands for ad, V stands for voice note or video, and R stands for react or respond. Okay, I'll just put it back for you so you can get that down. AVR. AVR. Add. Here's how we do it, right? So basically, we're going to connect with people privately every single day. So what I'd love you to do is to be in the engagement mode in terms of, I'm not going to bed until I've hit a certain amount of new contacts. Again, not from a transaction perspective, just literally adding new people that share similar values. You can look at their cover photo, their profile photo, their about, and you find them in groups. If you're a member of other groups, you might comment on a few of their posts, and then all of a sudden they add you. It might be that you know, someone tags someone in one of your posts, and you could contact them and add them. There's so many ways. You could meet someone at the shops, and they like your energy, and they say, well, do you have a business card? No, I don't, but I've got an online business card. You know, I don't have a physical one, but I've got an online one. I've got a virtual business card. It's called Facebook. Right? And you can add people on Facebook immediately. You can add people with genuine mutual friends as well. You know, if you love the sport cricket, right? That's a really bad topic for us Aussies at the moment. But if you loved that sport, you could go and connect in groups that have cricket, you know, focuses. And again, you could be meeting a lot of people with similar values. But what happens is once someone does actually accept you and add you, this is what we do. TCQ. It's simple. We get on a voice note. Has anyone not done a voice note before? If you haven't done a voice note, here's my challenge. When we leave today, if you haven't got me on Facebook, add me on Facebook and send me a voice note. Say, James, I'm doing it. I'm actually doing it. I cannot believe I've done it. Okay, so TCQ is this. Hey, John, and this is my voice note hand. Okay, hey, John, thank you so much for the ad. A big hello from sunny Joburg. Then we can say something like, I really love, let's say it was, you know, the energy of your profile, and that's what C is. So T is thank, C is compliment. And always finish with a question. What is it that you're focused on for the remainder of 2018? Looking forward to hearing from you. So you say it on a voice note. Have you ever heard you can't say the wrong thing to the right person, and you can't say the right thing to the wrong person? But when you type, you can. People don't hear the posture, the energy, the enthusiasm. So by sending a voice note, you've made it more personal, and people actually hear who you are. All of our business has been done on voice notes. How many of you have got a voice note from me before? Look around the room, there's a good handful. Okay? And that could be WhatsApp, that could be on Facebook, however it is. I want you to understand that, you know, the way that we run these events is 100% using these techniques. 100%. Now react and respond. The concept here is you've added A, you've voice noted V, and by the way, the V could be, you could send someone a video, like, hey guys, you know, it's great to meet you. But the video thing is if someone's at work, they're not going to watch it. So until later in the day, but a voice note, they can still listen to it. And the R stands for react and respond. So you're going to go to the person that you just added, and you're going to react to 3 of their last posts, and you're going to respond. That boosts the algorithm. So basically, and I say that in the way that they're going to now see you showing up more consistently because there's engagement. Facebook is all about rewarding engagement. So if you're someone that posts a lot, lots of people comment, but you don't comment back, then you'll actually be downgraded in terms of exposure to your feed. So try and doing this with the last 3, but when I say the last 3, you've got to be authentic about this. You don't just do 3 if you don't like their posts, right? So you've got to find posts that you resonate with. So what happened now, I just want you to picture this. That person has just been sent a voice note by you. They've just got added by you. They've been sent a voice note, and they've seen that you've actually gone and looked at their profile. What do you think that's going to do? Curiosity, and they're also going to look at you, they're going to engage more, they'll probably respond to your voice note. That's all you want. You just want to build a relationship. Again, no transaction, focus 100% on just building a relationship. Ask good questions. If they respond on voice note and they say, yeah, I'm great, thanks, how are you? Ask more questions. I'm great, so tell me more about what do you currently do? Keep asking questions. What I generally find is after a few days of that, you can then take that conversation offline. You can say, listen, really enjoyed conversing here. What if we jumped on a phone call and had a quick chat and explored synergies between our backgrounds? Just explore synergies. Again, that's not pushing anything on anyone. And you're just finding out more on the call about that person. So how do we actually do business? How do we actually turn this into the business piece? Do you see where this is going? Do you see where this is able to help grow some engagement for you? How many of you are completely confused? Yes. But you don't want something. You want a friendship. Yeah. So the concept here is that you know your ideal audience in the back of your mind, and if someone shows up, you're ready. But at the same time, you also know your values, and you lead with values. So you're all about connecting. Yes, you've got to be consistent to build a business. You've still got to connect with people. But you're not connecting with individuals based on trying to transact with them. You're connecting with lots of people, building a network, and then when there's the alignment with the right people, it works out beautifully. Yeah, perfect. So how do we do business? Well, I'm going to give you some examples of how this has all worked. Yes? Yeah, it's a great question. So how do you basically celebrate people on Facebook? So what we do is we still create the celebration, but we don't do it in a way where it's like, hey, look, John's just become a purple diamond in company X. And instead, we say, one of my colleagues has just hit an amazing achievement. I just want to reach out and celebrate, and you can put a great picture of it. So you still do it. It's just in the wording, right? And people are then going to say, well, who's your colleague? Like, what are you working with? Right? Does that make sense? So you still do it. I'm not saying, you're not going underground here. You're just putting more out there in terms of content first. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's right. So that's a great point. So, if you've got quite a few that have happened, don't do it randomly right away. Wait for maybe a particular day a week, which is Celebration Tuesday, where you put a few up together, things like that. So you don't want to be overdoing anything. Again, number one is value first. Okay, real life example. So I added value with EPL. So by sharing some information, and people were interested. And then I created curiosity, and this was a curiosity post that was based on something to do with what we do with Reignite. So it wasn't a network marketing post, but again, I've given you some examples of curiosity posts. Just launched a program where you can initially work with me on your transformation for only $1. What's that mean? It's very high level. Lots of people saying yes, please. So again, you can randomly, as I said, once every few weeks, you can be creating this curiosity that goes a little bit further. And then through a voice note, you can get in contact with people. But here's what we did. Rather than assuming that someone messages you is still interested, we asked the question again. Hey, Mona, I saw that you commented on my post regarding the possibility of working together to help you create a transformation in your life. Would this be something you'd like to discuss further? So permission from them posting on your page saying, yes, please. And then permission again by actually asking the question. At that point, if it's a yes, great, what's your phone number? Great, can we have a Facebook call at this time? Book the meeting. So that's where it comes in a big way, where you can bring that transactional process in through, again, that curiosity piece. Does that make sense? Okay, can I just because obviously we've been sitting here for a little bit, so I just want to make sure, does that really make sense? Always give it time. It could take 10 years to build a relationship. Yeah. It could take 2 days. It could take 5 minutes. The key is the biggest thing with network marketing, with anything in life, is you want to always be in network mode. Again, relationship building mode, not network marketing mode.
But I think it must be realistic. It takes time.
It does take time. It absolutely takes time. I mean, I've enrolled a lot of people that took a lot of time, but also we enrolled people that were ready. Again, they were in the looking zone. But we've got to remember that the biggest gift you have right now is to ask good questions. Ask good questions that provoke emotion in people that come back. So just remember, you're leading with you personally as a human being. What you do on the back end is horses for courses. So if someone's looking for something that you've got on either side, you can bring it in and have a conversation. But really, you're however you want to position yourself, whether it's you're an entrepreneur or whatever it is, you're leading with you first. This is just creating curiosity towards whatever it is, but without being too pushy with it. Again, people are following you, they like you, they'll ask you. A couple of weeks ago I had a lot of people contact me out of the blue asking for coaching. And I only take on 10 clients a year. I don't coach a lot. We work really specifically. And that all came because a couple of posts that I created that were just really just engaging. People are like, oh man, I just want to work with you. So again, if you're just adding value, it's going to come back to you as well. But you've got to give it time, and that's why we said right at the start, it's a long game. If you're going to go out tomorrow and judge your success in the next 90 days, don't even bother. Social media is for life. What you post right now is going to be on there for life, but you're going to have to be consistent. I'm not saying you can't get a result in 90 days, but don't judge your strategy on 90 days. Yeah. And always stay up to date. By the way, what we often do is just Google Facebook algorithm change and then the month. Because everyone's like, well, how do you know all of that? I just Google it. Right? Just Google it, because there's always articles by tech gurus that have been listed ahead, or they've been given some insight ahead of what's going to happen. So it's important to understand that. Here's another this is the direct ask. So if you've already built trust, you could send a voice note to them, and then you could ask them for permission. And this is really simple. It was, good morning, how are the things? Are you open to a chat? I wanted to run something past you. Now look at the response. Sure, I'm always open for a chat, you know that. And they give me a time. Why? Because I built value first, likability and trust. When it got to the stage where that person was interested, the most important question was, fantastic, when is best to discuss? I can call through your mobile line or call through Facebook if they didn't give you a time. So it's always asking someone for a time that's going to suit them and booking it in, and you've got to do it on voice. You've got to do it on voice. That's going to get you the best possible opportunity, because remember, 30-30-30-10 rule. Again, the first 30% is really linking in and finding out about those people. So there is so much with social media. But if we summarize everything we've spoken about, it is always ask and never pitch. It is always focus on knowing who you are first, identifying your ideal audience, positioning online, and then also taking massive action. Taking massive, massive action. So, we'll just go through that there. So a lot of people ask me, so what should I actually be doing per day? And so I'm going to give you this. Look, ideally, you've got people that you haven't actually sent a voice note to already that are on your Facebook page. So why not start with them? Why not send 5 quick voice notes? Now, voice notes are going to go for 20 seconds maximum, so don't tell me you haven't got time to do that. That's a minute in your day, or a minute and a half to contact 5 people. And it might be, hey, John, I've just been thinking of you. How's it all going? AVRs, that's your new contacts. Add, voice note, video. 3 is gaining permission. So gaining permission 3 times a day we want to be looking at. Identifying whether someone's open to taking a look. Now, that's not going to happen on day 1, is it? Because we're still doing the lead-in with the voice notes and things like that. 2 posts maximum a day, at least 4 hours apart. By doing it too close, it just ruins your own engagement on the existing posts. So if you put one now and one in an hour, in fact, I did a Facebook Live before everyone came in this morning, and I did one only a little bit after, probably 2 hours after, and hardly anyone saw it. And that's just the example. It'll just literally push that one down. So the question is, can you build all of these skills in one day? What do you think? No. I mean, the reality here is that everything we've spoken about today is going to sit with you, and there's going to be some things that are going to feel really congruent and ready to roll with right now, and some things that are going to take longer. But here's the thing. I believe I can help coach you to win.